Hey, FanboyNation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
You're watching.
We're watching. You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy. Fanboy.
Fanboy.
Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
FanboyNation.
Dot. I assume Tom.
Independent films aren't the only big thing these days. Independent television is now coming your way. Kelly Faltis and Laurine Price, we are talking about your new project, Phoenix. The first 5 episodes are done, and you have a deal with, I believe it was Vizio?
The first 7 episodes.
First 7 episodes are done.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. And, you got to deal with Vizio right now, and we're looking for a long-term platform to either stream or air. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell
us how
quite a ride and journey.
What was that?
Really.
It's been quite a wild ride and journey for the last 4 years. So,
Well, the world was shut down for 2.5, or at least California.
Yeah.
was.
So they don't count. It does feel like it's like 1.5 years then. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like when 2020 hit, like I looked at the calendar year, and as soon as COVID lifted, I was like, can we just take the 2020 calendar year and drop it on to when we're open? Halloween was Friday, Christmas was Friday, New Year's was Friday, 4th of July, I think, was Saturday. So like every major holiday weekend was either Friday or Saturday for those dates. And we couldn't do anything. I was like, let's just take that calendar day and then just place it over then. If we can do time zones and change the clock back and forth, we can do it with a calendar.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Like in editing software, when you kind of cut and just select that and then delete it and then move forward. Cut. Smash cut to 2023.
Exactly. But same calendar day, just boom, just drop it on top.
Exactly. 100%.
So take us through Phoenix. How, Laurine, you're the creator, and Kelly, you came on as a producer later on, or did you guys have a collaboration on this from the get-go?
So I am a creator.
creator.
So yes. So the showrunner, director, and writer is Brian Lambert, and he has his own company, Delta Wing Pictures, and he wrote the story, and he pitched it to the actress Kathleen Kinmont, who's known from Halloween 4, Renegade, and actually is in everything. And then myself, and so he thought this would be really cool as a 10 by 10 episodic short form in 2019, 2020, right before everything shut down. There was, the Quibbies and things coming out that were really looking for short chunks of scripted that people could watch on their phone as they were, going from point A to point B. So we signed on and filmed the first 10-minute pilot, and then the world shut down, and then the investor that Brian had pitched it to said, you know what, go ahead and make what you want. Let's see how much footage you get, and let's just turn it into a series. This was her first scripted series. Sandra Evers Manley, who has SEM Productions, had really she had invested in docu, so she had looked at things like Hunt for Planet B, lots of science documentaries, as well as diversity pieces, Ferguson Rising, and she really wanted scripted. So she said, go ahead and make it. And then Kelly joined us as a producer for the whole series, expanding the pilot to a full 23 minutes, and then producing 7 episodes, 7 by 30 from there.
Well, I'm really glad that you expanded it to a full 23-minute episode, because Quibi was awful.
We never to Roku. I did enjoy some of their material though, but yeah,
I got so tired of that Kevin Hart show that they sent me, and like I like Kevin Hart and I like the show with John Travolta, but the problem is that 10 minutes, and then I gotta go to the next one and go through the credits all over again for the next 10 minutes, and then go through the credits all over again. And I was like, are we just going to get a full-length feature out of this where you just keep cutting the credits out so I can actually get a continuous story without hearing that theme song over and over?
You're singing along with it, like, got it.
Yeah. And I think it was released weekly, right? It wasn't released all at once.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I saw it all when I went to Roku and got to watch episodes just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine having 10 minutes and being like, what?
Right.
Really?
No, I think it was, I'm sorry, I think it was like Roku released all at once, but I was just like, just cut it together and make it a movie, because this doesn't work for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
then Kelly came on as producer and really helped to yeah, to see the overall principal photography, and then the insert weekend, and then test audiences, ADR sessions, and then calling me saying, Laurine, we should go to Cannes to plug the series and get distribution. I was like, what? Okay, yes, we should. And then as a writer, when they said that they were going to flesh it out for a full season, then I was brought on as a writer to help break story. I wrote 2 episodes, and then worked alongside Kelly with production and distribution.
And yeah, that also happened at the end of, we started principal production for the series at the end of 2020. So we were in that crazy time of lockdown and figuring out all the new rules and how to keep everyone safe and alive. And miraculously, no one got sick during our production.
One person. That was when it was 22 to 24,000 new cases every day. Yeah, Kelly led this team where they tested people off-site and tested people on-site. It was incredible.
So a third of your production cost went to COVID testing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, it's very true.
And Kelly, were you that nonchalant about, oh, let's just go to Cannes and try to pitch the show?
My experience has been more on pre-production and production side. So in any of the other projects I've produced, there was someone else who had a connection to a distributor. So I really didn't have to do the sales side. So I actually started watching YouTube videos, asking friends, like, what do we do? And then I, kind of went through my research. I'm like, oh, this is what we need to do. Yeah.
And she is nonchalant about it. I was literally in the dentist office ringing. I was like, oh, Kelly, producer, yay. And she's like, hi, Laurine. I just talked to a few other producers. I think we need to go to Cannes and sell Phoenix. I'm in the dentist office like, what? Okay,
you thought it was the laughing gas that was talking.
Yeah, exactly. I really was like, are you serious? Did you say Can? Did you say Canada? Did you say Cameroon? No, Can. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny with these festivals. Like, I've been invited to go to Sundance, and I was like, wow, that sounds great. Can you move it to mid-May because I don't want to freeze to death in the middle of winter? Yeah. And then Cannes sounds fantastic. And I was like, oh, that's great. Too bad it's not in April because it's so hot in the French Riviera at that point in time. And you have to be dressed to the nines 24 hours a day.
It's true. And there's 2 festivals. So now there's Cannes Film Festival proper in May, I believe. And then there's now the selling side, which they split out to, and it's called MIPCOM. And that's in October now. So the sales happen, and the buying and the pitching and whatnot happens in October. But yes, you have to be dressed to the nines. And one year it was really lovely. Last year was a little colder, a little rainy, because it's France. So yes, you're dressed up in your heels and you're running from one meeting to the next, and then you've got a screening that night, and it's quite a different aspect of the whole the whole cycle and process.
Right. This is why I live by the beach, because I sit there and go, it's how hot where? No, I'm good, thanks. It's how cold where? No, that's a beautiful photo of the snow. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, you're like, post your videos. I'll live vicariously.
Exactly. And then someone will complain to me that lives in Michigan, a friend of mine, and will be like, oh my God, it's so cold over here. I was like, I know, I got to put socks on today.
I know about this. I have some family in Michigan, so.
Yeah, indeed.
So Kelly, you've been on the production side most of the time. You have a very reserved personality, it seems, from our limited interaction. Or is this just for the camera, and you're really just make everybody else look quiet in comparison once you're offset?
No, I can be mellow. This is true. I am a mellow person, but no, but I've got my other sides. Just they come out at the right moment. Sometimes.
Ellery's got the wrong mug.
Yeah.
You're too happy today.
It's ironic mug. There you go. You can kind of see the irony. The ironic mug. We love irony. Kelly does not like really sell herself. She's remarkable. You know, she seems like maybe she's reserved, but she could walk up to anybody in Cannes and just said, "Hi, we are two producers from Los Angeles. We have a fully filmed season one, and then this is what it's about." And people are like, "Oh, tell us more." She's incredible, really incredible.
Thank you, Laurine.
True.
I
It's true.
like the way
I'm
I
just
like how friendly you are with
yeah.
each other, and this isn't just a front. Like some people, the camera will go on and we're like, "All right, we're best friends," and then as soon as like we hit pause, and like, "I hate your guts."
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I feel like we genuinely like
Yeah.
each other, and it's we learned that we're a really good team. Actually, we didn't know we'd both be going on the road, so to speak, to try and sell the series. And through that, though, I think we realized we both have gifts that complement each other, and so it works.
It's very true. She would make the introduction, tell us who we are, where we're from, what we're selling. They say, "Oh, can you expand upon it? What is the artistic value? What's about?" It's like, "Laurine." And then I would jump in on the artistic side.
Well, the story itself of Phoenix has a very Jason Bourne aspect to it of, someone with amnesia that they're trying to assassinate for information that if it got out would ruin, a cabal. So what's it like when you try to sit there and film a story like this, and the various inspirations that came from it?
Sure. I can speak a little bit to that, helping break the season. It was interesting because one of Brian's goals was to not put a woman in a man's role. He's like, "I love Terminator 2. Linda Hamilton's amazing, but I don't want the women in this to beef up, and it's amazing what Linda did, but he's like, "I want Glenn Close, where she goes into a building, she meets somebody, she destroys them over the period of time, and they wish that it was Bruce Willis just driving a car into the building and taking it out, like painlessly in like 2 seconds." So to the Jason Bourne analogy, the writing actually, it does set up like that, but it's supposed to be a slow burn. It's supposed to be that actually we can say this now that the series is out, that this amnesiac is a doctor and her superpower is her mind, and the fact that she helped develop serums that could indeed change the world, a super serum, if you will, where people could heal instantly. And I won't give away where the serum is, but that's why they wanted to try to kill her, is they wanted her IP, if you will. They wanted her medical abilities and the things that she and another character had created. So the switch, the red herring, was that in her amnesia, she sees blood, she sees guns, she sees things, and she thinks that she's the assassin, and then it turns around and flips. Everybody wants to kill her. And in episode 4, she gets a hold of a gun and she throws it away, and people are like, "Why did she throw away the gun?" Because she's actually a doctor. And that comes out in episode 6. She's there to heal and save lives. So
Don't give it all away. People need to watch the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
This is not a spoiler-free interview apparently anymore.
No, but there are a lot of things that I have not given away. Like at the screening, there's so many things that people are like, "Oh, like didn't see that coming, didn't see that character, didn't see that." There's so many things, and I do feel it's important to say that, because everyone's like, "We're waiting for you to just like Hulk out and kill everybody." It's like, but the other surprises are better. The other surprises, one of which we told you, but we also say right in the beginning of the pilot, we show her name and who she is, and that came from the test audiences that Kelly had directed and led, because they said, they used the Alfred Hitchcock analogy. They said, if you watch 6 people or 7 people talking around a table, and then 8 minutes later, then you lower the camera and see the time bomb underneath, you're like, "Oh snap." So they're like, show the time bomb first, and then pan up to the people. So we sit there in 7-8 minutes going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no." So due to the test audience feedback, we arranged it and just allowed people to just know in the first 3 minutes of the show, this is who she is. Boom, lost her memory, and we got to start from scratch.
So then, Kelly, what was the original title if Phoenix was the one brought on by the fan base or the audience test screening?
Well, so the title remained the same. It was a Phoenix from the start, but we just kind of had to go in and well, we listened actually to what people were saying. We're like, yeah, you know what, they have a good point, and so we made a few adjustments based on that.
Yeah, and ramped up the tension. So people are like, don't go there, don't do that. Oh no, oh that character's bad. Oh, that character's good. Oh, you know.
Yeah, well, you have quite a few recognizable faces like Garrett Wang and Dominic Keating from Star Trek fame, one from Enterprise, one from Voyager. And, Dominic is one of those guys that you want to hate him, but you just can't help liking him. And I'm talking from his character aspect. I've met him only once at a Star Trek convention that we covered in Las Vegas, and he was really pleasant. And then Garrett's just great all the way around.
Exactly. They're wonderful. And the wonderful thing about Dominic, I didn't know at that time that the character he played is lovely and British and erudite. But to see him come out, as a Mr. Blue and quite the opposite, everyone's just freaking out. And he loves this role. He's like, I love to play against type. So he's great. And Garrett, you're right. Garrett's wonderful. The two of them were just fantastic. I know, Kelly, you got to interact with them too behind the camera.
Yeah. Dominic's the riot. He is full of personality. I mean, he behind the scenes, he's full of personality, and he brought it on screen. So it's even some of our test audience members were like, "Wow!" When he came on screen, we're like, "Yeah."
And Rico Ross.
Oh yeah, Rico.
Rico Ross is great. Everybody you have in this cast is great. But there is, a bit of a ham actress in this, Kelly, that you got to tell us about. And it's the lady that plays Jane Doe.
Who is she?
Oh, no, you'd have to figure it out.
Laurine Price.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I mean, really, yeah, she's here kind of as a producer right now, but as an actress, I think she goes there. You get a lot of depth and everything that you would want, she brings to the character. So
that's so kind. It is hard to play an amnesiac. I feel like everybody knew who they were. Dominic knew who he was. Garrett knew it was. Rico. Oh man, Rico, from Aliens, Mission Impossible, Doctor Who. Just recently went down the Doctor Who rabbit hole, and he's, from all of those things. Everybody knows Grace Byers, who has a long, TV and now film history. And they know exactly who they are, but my character doesn't know who she is, and that's really hard to play sometimes.
Do you have to almost go back to adolescence and like 7th grade where you're trying to figure out who you are and where you belong in society?
Absolutely, 100%. There's a part where my character looks in the mirror and it's just like, and everything is just swapped. Again, the good guys are bad, the bad guys are good. Then the situations, what's good is bad, what's bad is good. So it's just such a, you just have to kind of feel your way through. It's like junior high.
Hey.
It's like pro wrestling. There's a double turn coming. You don't know who's the good guy this week and who's the bad guy next week.
Yeah, it's true. And then when you have to form alliances with people, with some of the characters, the devil, it's fascinating. Really, really fascinating.
Well, it sounds like you had an incredible time making the show. Was it initially, I know you initially started with the 10-minute clips and then a full 23-minute pilot. Was there ever an attempt to change it into a full-length feature film, or was it always from the get-go to make it a TV series?
Always from the get-go to make it a TV series. That's what SEM Productions had requested. We did have some offers from some streaming that said, could you make this into a 2-hour movie? But we have about 3 hours and, gosh, Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 hours, 20 some minutes of material, and we didn't know where exactly to cut. We're like, well, what are you offering? But that was not really the goal of the creative team, to cut it down to 2 hours. And it would need to be 2 hours. It couldn't be one of these, 3 hours sit with is too long. So yeah.
Or you could have turned it into 2 hour-and-a-half movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But there is the Wild West of streaming kind of reared its head and said, we're looking for things now that you no longer have that prime time 43-minute or 23-minute hold, that you have to meet this mold and add commercials. Streaming's like, make what you want. If you're going to go in the half-hour mold, is it one episode's 23 minutes, one episode's 29 and 37 seconds. Streaming allows for that now. They're like, write what you need, make what you need, and in AVOD, advertising video on demand, we'll throw commercials in there. We'll make it work. So streaming has kind of allowed for that flexibility, which is really nice. So that's why we kept to the TV series, because we had enough interest saying, yeah, what do you got? And yeah, let's look at what we can do with this.
Yeah, one interesting thing happened though, and kind of going from that 10-minute format and expanding it, is that we have that extra like cliffhanger at the 10 minutes. Yeah.
It's true. It's built to have a cliffhanger like every 10, 9-10 minutes. So yeah.
So we can take breaks in between episodes and be like, oh, here's the 10-minute mark with the cliffhanger, pause, go throw in a load of laundry, come back, finish it off.
There you go.
Exactly. Or wait for the advertisements. Go through the laundry, come back, and then rewind it. Yeah.
Well, no, they got to sit through the commercials. We want you to get paid for it.
Correct. Oh yes. No, don't turn off your TV or your device. Let it run.
Right.
Definitely.
Run the commercials.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the distribution deal that you currently have is with Vizio. And I'm not familiar with Vizio's model. Is it similar to where DirecTV had their own channels? And, they was just only aired on DirecTV. Does Vizio have its own streaming service and it's only aired if you have a Vizio account?
Kelly, do you want to?
Yeah, no, that's correct. At least my understanding. It's on Vizio products through their watch-free platform, and then they have channels. They debuted Phoenix as a marathon, actually, on their action channel. So we had a marathon weekend, and then now it's you can access it to stream it.
That's
fantastic.
And congratulations.
Add on to that, it's like the Apple TV Samsung model, where if you have a Samsung device, an Apple TV, or an Apple product, iPhone, whatever, for that, I don't know if that was first year or so, you could only watch their content on, but Apple expanded. Samsung now is on Amazon, I believe. So yeah, Vizio was just acquired by Walmart, and it said that that acquisition alone took the eyeballs on Vizio streaming from 19 million to 29 million. So that's exciting, and knowing that Walmart wants in a piece of that streaming game, so it'll be interesting to see how it evolves from there. But it is exclusively on Vizio through September 1st, and then it's open to other streaming in the United States. Sorry, exclusively in Vizio in the United States through September 1st.
And what has the general reaction been? Because, people love to interact they'll be mean on Twitter and they'll be relatively funny on Instagram. So what's the general reaction been?
Pretty much exactly what you said, except Dominic Keating has quite a following on Twitter, and everyone loves Dom. They're like, just love you in this. But yes, it's interesting because people are riveted. Someone wrote and said, no, why did this end, at the end of the season as it did? It's called cliffhanger, tune in for a season 2, 3. So yeah, there's a lot of
dream.
Yeah.
That's definitely the dream. So for us.
So the dream is a 3-season run?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. The story's been broken out for 3 seasons.
Yeah. How specific are you with ending it at 3 seasons? What if it's becomes a mega hit, and then all of a sudden the new service is like, we kind of need, a 4th season?
Then it goes on. And then it goes on and on. I know that the story is originally broken for 3 seasons, but there's so much with technology, and it is a hint of sci-fi, and it gets sci-fi-ier, which is why there are intentionally Star Trek people, Doctor Who people, Douglas Weston. Actually, I think he's from 6 Days. So nice, but there's a lot of sci-fi people. Oh, Grace Byers was on The Gifted. So yeah, it will get more sci-fi. So sci-fi, there's no end to the telling of sci-fi. So yeah, it could absolutely go on.
And at some point, you can take it to space.
Correct.
Right. There you go. I mean, the themes allow for kind of a lot of expansion. So
yeah, absolutely.
And you have an incredible production team as well. Obviously the 2 of you being executives, but Brian, who is the director, writer, editor, craft services, apparently, because he's done so much on the show. Shannon Godley, and Jonathan Pope, and so on. What's it like when the entire team gets together? Because there's about 12 of you, and you sit there and you made it work.
So John Pope, yes, he was our DP on the pilot, and he was part of the Social Dilemma that won the Emmys for that. And then Andrew Jarrick came in and also then was the DP on episodes 2 through 7. Yeah, Kelly, I don't know if you want to speak. All this creativity was amazing and very synergetic. You know, you take ideas and then it just grows and grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, and whenever we would have to pivot for something, it was nice having all those minds in there to help to be able to say, oh, we can solve it this way. And that always helps a lot.
Absolutely. And the way, if I could just throw out more shout outs to Jonathan Pope and Andrew Jarrick, the way they shoot is very live. You know, they like to breathe with the characters and whip pans sometimes, and then just showing the characters, showing their hands, coming back up. It just makes it even more intense, ramps up the action and the intensity to an 11. This one goes to an 11. So they really took what's on paper and just threw in this additional level of creative expertise that was like, whoa. And then our musicians, everyone that composed the music, Tika Marie Perry and Dan Cummings, just again, the music, Jordan Peele said the difference between comedy and drama is music. And I have to totally agree with that. When you throw in music, it's like, oh my gosh, I was already scared. Now I'm listening to this and I'm horrified. And so the team just added and made it explosive.
So then that begs the question, what scares the two of you if you're doing this sci-fi intense type thriller?
Go ahead, Kelly. Oh no. Actually something that's a little bit grounded, so it feels very real. And then if there's something that happens, to me, that's when I get scared. When there are a lot of when something's so over the top and you're just like, okay, well, I kind of expected this, and I know, but when things are kind of grounded in somewhat in reality, and then you start seeing things that aren't quite right or normal, to me, that's spooky.
Yeah, absolutely. Or when you trust somebody or the situation so much that it flips around and it's not trustworthy, that I'm always just like, oh no.
So you're both very rational. My fear is movie musicals.
Yeah.
Like, they terrify me.
I'm from musical theater, so
hold on.
But
I cover musical theater like live theater.
Awesome.
Right? And I'm fine with live theater because, there's the stage production, they're walking back and forth, there's stuff going on, there's crowd reaction. In a movie musical, like, I don't like horror, and I don't like, I'm not a big horror fan. Like, horror comedies work for me, but like torture porn and that stuff doesn't work. Yeah. But like, so the scariest movie to me is mixing horror and a musical. So it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show is like the scariest movie I've ever seen because it's like horror and musical. I'm like, that, I'm done. Right. But like, if I saw a stage performance of it, I'd be like, all right, I get it. But like, on film, because I'm supposed to suspend that disbelief, like, makes it difficult. Grease is terrifying. Like, the movie Grease terrifies me.
I think that when they nod to the musical theater aspect, I think Chicago did a brilliant job of when people would go into their minds and suddenly they were on stage, and then they would come back, boom, to real life, and they weren't all dolled up and they didn't have the feather boa, but they were in prison. Also Hairspray,
I'll give you Hairspray in Chicago.
The whole time they're like, we know what we're doing. Come on and enjoy the ride. And I just adored those movie musicals, but they've changed, they've evolved, much like TV and film. You look back at Singing in the Rain, you look back at, Sound of Music, you look back at, King and I in Oklahoma. It was a different thing then. Now it's.
But those also felt like stage productions that were filmed.
Those
they weren't set like Fiddler on the Roof, really in somebody's village, and then out of nowhere, the guy just starts singing for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. It is a little awkward. You're right, though, and especially in Singing in the Rain, the ultra wides, South Pacific, it felt like a stage. Where now I feel like we're very into these close-ups, extreme close-ups, the eyes. So if you sing, it's too much. It's just too much. But if we have that ultra wide, we have that. There's a fourth wall really between us. You're right. I think that's more comfortable, and we can accept. Okay, they're in that world where it's okay to sing, or is it?
Well, no plans to turn Phoenix into a musical as of that I'm aware of. So
no.
That's
But you're
season
safe.
4. That's season 4.
Yeah, right. You're right.
All right, so at least I'm safe. No musicals, no cats, so we're good to go.
No cats.
I'm allergic to cats, so
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, everyone says that, and then they don't realize the horrors of people that have pet allergies and what we go through.
Yeah.
So, to you, it's sorry because you probably have a cat that you absolutely adore and you rub all over your face and everything else because it's so fuzzy.
Yeah.
And then I just sit there and walk through the door, like, oh, I'm gonna die. I gotta go.
Yeah. I wanted to say one more thing about horror. You know that you don't love horror. I don't love horror porn either, but I really, really do like working on horror. Kelly and I know that she's been a mentee for a while under Epic Level Productions, but they made a lot of horror and working on horror and working with the gags, the little tube that goes up through here, and the little screwdriver that retracts, and having the child that, don't look at camera. Okay, don't look at camera. I think it's theater. It's theater. And then the shot of the child hitting the neck, and then your little, candy blood squirts out. I think that's amazing. So I will watch horror that I've worked on because I think that that's just fun. And did we get the shot? There's puppets that are 5-person puppets, like moving the jaw, moving the hand. And I think the art of it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love watching the documentaries and the behind the scenes stuff. I love psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Some horror, obviously, I can't say all horror because that's, I think, too much of a catch-all.
Right.
But I think the torture porn stuff is too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't that's just too much. But there are other aspects of horror because I'm going to Midsummer Screen, which is a horror convention, and there's stuff over there I can absolutely handle, and then there's other things I like macabre.
Oh, sure. I have to shout out, there's a character in episode 1 that we had a gag and we have blood, and we had 3 different wardrobe outfits waiting for this character after they were going to go through something that was going to be bloody. And this person was just so on it and got it. And and the blood that came out, again, it's not torture porn. It's it's blood is blood is blood. But it was very, very cool and very exciting on the day to get the shot and to be able to not have used all 3 outfits. So, and then there's a throwback to it in episode 2, and then kind of an homage to Halloween, because there are a lot of horror fans. So yeah.
And now, Kelly, on the production side of things, you got to keep everything moving. You got to keep everything within budget. You got to make sure things are progressing. We don't have 18 takes to try to get the sunset right. When you have to get into that boss mode, what's that like for you to sit there? Does it become nerve-wracking for you, or is it very time management orientated? Here's the deal, here's the time, let's go.
I think the best thing is if you can figure out as much as you can, and you can't figure out everything ahead of time, but if you can kind of preemptively know where the trouble spots are and try to figure out your scheduling and work together with the team to try and avoid those last minute situations. Of course, you do run into problems and then those things happen and you have to, oh, okay, well, do we need to cut something? Do we need to talk to the director? So I mean, you just have to make decisions to try and make it all work. But yeah, my whole thing is to try and preempt as much of that as you can.
So
Kelly's a master.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Scheduling. She's a master at scheduling. I would think Kelly is a master at scheduling. Scheduling scenes and locations, and then getting the permits. Again, I call her the permit whisperer. Especially in Los Angeles, it's very, very difficult to get a permit and an affordable permit. But we know Karen Bass wants to change that, yes. But anyhow, there was only, I think, 2 days that we went overtime, and the team came and said, now you can either stop, or you can go into overtime. It's going to cost you approximately this much. If you don't go to overtime, you'll lose these scenes. And then decisions were made according to that. So it was presented very rationally, very clearly, and Kelly is amazing at just saying it's black or white. No one get upset. It's a choice. Call him A or call him B. This is great.
Makes sense. What's the worst thing that you heard on production, Kelly? The one phrase as a producer that scares you.
Well, on this set during lockdown, the panic for me was the one time when I heard our COVID testing company wasn't going to show up. And so that's a big deal. So we had to that I was like, during that time, that was a nightmare to hear that. So we had to quickly scramble to find a replacement. But hopefully we're past most of that now.
Right. See, that beats what I was thinking. I was thinking someone would just scream, we'll fix it in post.
Oh, well, I mean, there's always that too.
You did hear a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every editor is just throwing their headphones down as they hear that line.
Yeah, indeed. And there was a lot, from what I understand, there was a lot of outsourcing too in some of the graphics and the special effects as well. But yeah, that fix and post, especially in COVID days and with budget constraints, it's just a very real thing.
And how now are you allowed to shop the show around even though you have an exclusive contract till September, or do you have to wait till that expires before you can shop it around?
No, we're allowed to shop it around and work with our distributor who's helping us. So
we have a distribution team at Roundtable for the United States, and even on Friday they emailed Kelly, myself, and the showrunner and said we have more customers interested in it because of the success on Vizio. We're sending off the deck and the pitch materials, and then internationally, Lightning is the name of the company that's handling it, and they're out of Hong Kong, and so they're all selling it as well. So yeah.
And what's the international reaction been? Because like with stand-up comedy, a joke will hit in LA that won't hit in San Francisco. A joke will hit in San Francisco that won't hit in Seattle. Something hits in Seattle that doesn't hit in Chicago. Same thing with television and film. Like certain things resonate with a domestic audience that won't resonate in Hong Kong, but something else that's a big deal in Hong Kong, people over here will be like, I didn't get that from the show.
Right. From what I understand, and Kelly, wrong, jump in, is our one of our big edicts from SEM Productions was diversity and inclusion. So we have a beautiful and diverse cast. And so overseas, they're really looking for those huge names. They're really looking for, the Tom Cruise and the Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. Now, that being said, having so much diversity, there has been a lot of interest then in Asia because we have so many Asian American actors. There's been a lot of interest in Spanish-speaking countries because many of our actors are Latino, Latina, and there are segments of the series that do speak Spanish. So that's been really, really cool to see.
And has there been any issue with dubbing or anything for the foreign market, or is it just subtitles at this point?
No, not as of yet. Not as of yet. Subtitles right now. Right now.
Yeah, and in part, we haven't released internationally yet. So we were on hold until we had our domestic release. So we were kind of in a holding pattern for a bit, and now our international distributor can start making those deals.
Indeed.
Well, I'm thrilled for all you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, that was another thing, is where in the US is it going to land? From a monetary standpoint, they know, okay, these kinds of things go on Vizio, which is kind of everything, so they're like, all right, then with that we can put it here, there.
Yeah, and the 7-episode model was distinct because things run either 6 to 10 episodes now. No one's going the full 23. Would you like to do a 23, or is it sticking to the 6 to 10 model for this work better for you?
What we understand from the writing team, and we have had more writers say, I want in, which is really cool. It will probably be 6. I think Kelly was saying that things tend to sell better in 4, 6, 8. So right now the goal is, people want to binge, but they're not necessarily ready to binge 23 episodes unless it's, unless it's game show, unless it's reality TV, but as far as the story is concerned. So, so the plan right now is to keep it around 6 episodes per season.
All right, Kelly, how do we turn Phoenix into a reality TV show?
No.
We need scripted. We love our writers. We love our actors. Yeah. And our crews.
Right.
You know, reality TV shows don't necessarily hire a full crew. We love our crews. So.
No, I'm just trying to figure out who we can brainwash to forget who they are and then just go.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow them around with the camera and they're cool
Right.
with it. Yeah.
You know.
Are you volunteering?
No, I am not volunteering. I'm being facetious in all of this because I have a reality show addiction to one show thanks to the pandemic, and apparently I shouldn't be embarrassed by it, but everybody else seems to agree that it's a great reality show.
Uh-oh. Can you say what it is?
Sure, it's the 90 Day Fiancé franchise.
Oh, yep. Okay, I watched that with my mom. So my mom loves it. So she ropes me in, and now
Mind you, like I've been hitting up, people over at TLC and going, yeah, send me advanced screeners, let's do some interviews, because I've interviewed a couple of the cast members. But the thing is, like, the way I found the show wasn't like, this is interesting, and I watched the show. The way I found the show was I put the remote down while channel surfing in the middle of the pandemic, went to get a glass of water, and I heard this very raspy Southern woman screaming at this poor African guy.
Oh, gosh.
And then I came back and I was like, what is this? And then it went to the next scene of somebody else in their relationship, went to commercial. And I was like, well, I'm stuck.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah. It was literally that little 10-minute block that I was like, all right, they got me.
Yeah, it's true. They do. The Bachelor did that to me. I was like, how dare they? This is such, who's he going to choose?
Right. You went from I hate men that date multiple women to watching a show about men that date multiple women.
And rooting for, like, why am I doing this? Like,
Right.
like everybody's wonderful. Everyone's great. Everyone has something to offer, but please pick her.
She deserves a rose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Kelly's like, that's not my shtick. I don't like that. Forget that show.
That's true. No, I watched it, but then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
I love the talent shows when people have to sing, or Amazing Race, when people have to do something and they have a goal. I just think that those are incredible. So, yeah.
All right. Besides 90 Day Fiance, Kelly, what's your reality show addiction?
I can't confess all of this right now.
Not publicly.
She's so wise. Do you see how wise she is?
Yeah. She's like, off camera, I'll tell you, not here. Yeah. And she's like, and it can't even be near a camera. It has to be like in a remote location.
All
out
your
in the
devices
Palm Springs
away.
desert.
I'm
where
just
there's
going
no
to
reception.
blame. I'm going to blame my mom. So my mom lives with me, and so we watch TV together, and she loves reality TV. So I'm always like, I'm not going to watch that.
And then you're hooked on The Masked Singer.
We didn't watch that one.
Yeah. So as you're shopping Phoenix around, and television has been a lot better than cinema as of late, and I make no beef in admitting that, especially with all the films I cover. How do we make people, like X-Files has had a huge impact on people. People still watch Friends as much as they can. IFC showing Night Court reruns all the time. Things of that sort. So there's so much impactful television that's been out there. How has Phoenix impacted your current audience, even with just the one season?
I feel like with some of the test audiences, they vocalized this, and then we got that same feedback since it's been airing and at the premiere, that there's a relatability to mental health and actually just self-care. A lot of people in the test audiences said, we're watching the pilot, we're watching Jane, and it really made me think about self-care. I was like, that's so interesting. So the relatability of looking beaten up on the outside, feeling beaten up on the inside, and then how do you take care of yourself? How do you heal? And so that's what I've heard is the relatability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I think Laurine and how she played the character, I think we can definitely give a nod to her on that, to making the character come across as relatable. So
that's very kind. Then also you've got some other characters that are super awesome that you also hear people say, I want to be that person. Love it. So it has a little bit of that reality element of who am I? Why am I? Right. Which I feel like the pandemic, we all kind of went through that. And then other like, oh, I want to be that person. That's kind of a superhero element. Cool. So it's a little bit of both, I think.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to leave you with this. But, you know, before you remind us where we can find it on Vizio and everywhere else on social media. Everyone, from what I hear, keeps taking costumes or pieces of costumes or something from the set for their own personal collection. What's the one item that you're like, ooh, this needs to be in my living room or in my closet?
He stumped us on the last question now.
Oh. I actually have the weathered suit. I do.
Ooh.
And from the first episode, I because they were gonna throw it away. I was like, no, because it reminds me, we were shooting during lockdown, and this character that I played looked so beaten up on the outside. I thought, gosh, this is how we all kind of feel right now. Like, we don't know what we're supposed to do. We don't know what we're supposed to take. We don't know what's going on with the world. So it just reminded me that that things get better, that you can take off the suit and that you can evolve. You can get through it step by step by step. So that's in my closet in a bag because it is covered. They distressed it beautifully. I mean, this chick went through something, so it's like, oh, we're gonna come through it. Whatever it is, we'll work through it. Might be tough. Might have some scars. We'll make it through.
Kelly?
I just want to add a note because this is a thriller. It has some action in it. And as Laurine mentions, some sci-fi that it kind of grows into. There's also a little bit of some moments of levity and some lightness too. So I just wanted to mention that about our tone. There are some fun moments, and we screened episode 4 at our cast and crew premiere, and so the one person was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I didn't know I would be laughing too, getting some comedy, but it is mostly the tone's mostly a thriller." But yeah, so it's got a little.
I didn't expect it to be a French show.
Well, we have gone to Cannes a couple times now, so yeah.
Right, but if it was a French production, the first 15 minutes would be some guy laying there motionless with his eyes bugged out open, not blinking, as a fly is just buzzing around.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's
just
true.
setting the tone of a depressing 2-hour avant-garde film. And
Right.
you know, we're Americans, we need levity.
Yeah.
True.
All right, so where can we find, like, what streaming channel can we find it on through Vizio? And where can we find the two of you on social media if we want to connect and talk about Phoenix?
Sure. Yeah, it's on Vizio's watch-free platform right now. And as Laurine mentioned, we hope to expand it to other platforms for people who may not have access to a Vizio product. And we're on, Phoenix is on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Threads. I think we're on, yeah, pretty much cover all of it.
So do follow us at, I think it's Phoenix the series on Instagram, and that has all the links. Kelly, what's your Instagram handle? She's awesome, and she's a phenomenal producer. I cannot plug her enough.
Oh, thank you, Laurine. It's simple. It's my name, Kelly, at Kelly Faltis on Instagram. So,
and I'm at Laurine Price Official. So yeah, please, we want to interact with people. We love it. We absolutely love it.
Ladies, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you talking to me about Phoenix. You know, it's been a blast, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see Kelly sooner than I'm going to see Laurine. But hey, I can't even talk right now. You know what I mean.
You got it.
It's
You
been one
got
of
it. It
those
was
mornings.
such a pleasure.
I need more
Thank
coffee.
you so much for having us. You do. Me
Absolutely.
too. Me
yeah,
too.
thank you so much. This was fun.